Today we're going to be moving the cows to the back pasture and fixing on the milk bar. And if you haven't already subscribed, like and subscribe to our channel.
Today I'm going to be changing out the nipples on the nipple bar. The baby lamb's teeth got pretty sharp and they started to chew on it quite a bit. So we ordered a new set off of PBS's website. They came, and so that's what I'm going to work on today. After we separated the lambs, the sick pen had a chance to catch back up and weight, and they're drinking a lot more, doing really well. Replacing the nipple bar also helped this group get all the milk that they could, not as much loss with broken nipples, letting milk just drain out onto the floor. We're getting ready to put them back together and wean them off the milk here in a minute or so.
So I grabbed one of the chicks out of the pen, take a look at it out here. The heat lamp hides a lot with them, but you can kind of see that its wings are starting to feather here. This is a week old. I'll set it down here. You can kind of get an idea of its size there. They grow pretty quick, but they'll really take off here in the next week or so. Well, I came over to check on the steers today and see how they were doing and start getting ready to move them into the back pasture. We were planning on doing that tomorrow. Well, with the recent rains and high waters, our water gap here by the barn got washed out. I ended up getting it back up, but the calves were already in the back. So I just kind of ran a temporary wire up back here and hooked it up to the charger. So they're kind of pinned off, but we'll still give them the full access to the back. We just have a couple spots of the electric fence that we need to fix that got damaged this winter. But at least they didn't get out. They're just kind of just right here next to the feeding floor. Today we're going to be moving the steers into the back pasture. We got to put a water gap in real quick and run some new electric fence to give them access to a portion of it, so that way they're just not running all over the place. But we're going to get started on that. Okay, here's the water gap that we've put in. It's not ideal, but with the spring rains that we get, we know it will be washed out. We're in the process of putting a more of a permanent water gap in on down the creek. So with the way we had the field cut off here with the fencing coming down off that side to keep the cows in this area of the pasture, this will keep them from getting by, and we're able to still run the electric past it. Like I said, we know it's going to wash out, so it's kind of built to fail, which that's what we want.
I'm doing one last check of the pasture before we let the cows out on the new grass. I wanted to show you something interesting. We had the cows over here in this section for the last day and a half before we strung up the new fence, and there's a defined line of where they have been eating and then where they're going to eat now, which you can definitely see right here behind me. So this is where they were, this is where they're going. It's pretty neat to see how much they eat down in just a short period of time. You know, one of the main reasons we do this intensive grazing is to make sure that the cows are eating up all the nutrients that they can in one specific spot before we let them move on to the next. on, cows. Come on, cows. Come on. Nobody's wasting any time getting at it over here. The area they're on now, we have not mowed or anything just because when the water gets up high, that's where all the debris comes in at, but they're gonna weed it out and find the good stuff, which is what we like. I'm gonna stay here for a little while, just watching them, making sure they don't try any of these fences.
We've had a lot of high wind and storms come through here recently, so one thing we got to do is come over and just kind of walk the fence after that happens to make sure a branch hasn't fallen down and grounded it out. The charger says it's good, but we've had some instances where that's not always the case, so just giving it a walk along, checking it out.